Right now, I am in somewhere in New Jersey. I actually didn't stay in Milltown yet last night. I didn't feel the vibe. I came to the Walmart, which is like 8 miles away. Parked here and felt reasonably comfortable, so I hunkered down and watched some videos and caught some shut-eye. Only today, I have to do 100 miles. You see, I'm going to Reston, Virginia, and Reston is 247 miles from here. That means I have to do 100 miles today and at least 100 miles tomorrow. If I don't do 100 miles today, then that means I have to do all 200 miles tomorrow and then 47 miles on Tuesday, which is when I'm scheduled to hang out with Mason. There's just one little tiny problem with this plan. It's not that I don't want to hang out with Mason. It's just that somewhere in the back of my head, in my child brain, it's screaming at me because I want to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. And here's why. You see, back when I was about 5, maybe 6 years old, I think this happened when I was 5. My parents took us on a long family trip from our house in Falmouth to the family farm in North Carolina. It's actually off the coast of North Carolina. And there's this tiny little bridge that connects the coast to the island. And if you hit it at the right time of day, you're good. And if you hit it at the wrong time of day, not so much with that one. So there are only 3 things about this trip that I remember. One is I got to meet my great-grandmother, who at the time was 105 years old. And later on, I would understand what the phrase "skin felt like paper," what that phrase means, because at the time, I remember, holding her hand in mine, and her skin was like paper. And the second thing I remember about this trip, aside from the fact that she just oohed-and-ahed over me, was the fact that my great-grandmother got up out of her chair, out of her rocker, stepped away from the house, but we're talking 10 feet to the sugar crop that was sitting right in front of us, that stretched for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet, as far as the eye could see, and she just cut a piece of sugar and handed it to me and said, "Suck on that." And the third thing I remember about this trip was the fact that in order to get there, we had to cross over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which in those days was not the Chesapeake Bay Bridge that it is today, because there was tunnel, there was bridge, there was above water, more tunnel, more above water, more bridge. We were on that stretch of bridge for what seemed like a day and a night, and it really wasn't that long. Because I remember my mother saying, "We were on that bridge for 9.5 hours, Charles." That's how my mother, called my father. Charles! We were on that bridge for 9.5 hours. 9.5 hours. Do you know how long you need to hold your water to last on a bridge? 9.5 hours. Trust me, I was not a happy camper. Nor is my mother, nor is my sister, nor is my father, nor is my brother. So on the other side of that bridge, at the time, I'm sure it's long since gone, was a hamburger shack. And do you know that place was packed? Of course it was packed, because it was the only place for miles. It was insane. No, but my father ordered, hamburgers and fries for everybody. I got a cheeseburger. I got a whole cheeseburger to myself. My mother was like, "He doesn't need more than that." I was like, "Can I have a whole I'm fucking starving." I got a whole cheeseburger to myself with fries. And in those days, a cheeseburger was like that. This is what I remember about that trip. So in order to see Mason, or in order to do the Chesapeake, I would have to drive the 247 miles to see Mason, then backtrack about 150 miles just to take that turn so that I could go down the Delaware coast to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. That's insane. It's a waste of gas. If I remove Mason from the list, then this is a no-brainer. Then it's just head straight from here, down the Delaware coast, and then crossing the Chesapeake. And then finally crossing to the, cross back onto the mainland, and then cross out to the Outer Banks. It's about 300 miles from here, but so worth it. I don't know. I got a decision to make. And as you can tell, it is raining. That sound you hear? That's rain. I hate driving in the rain. You know why? Every time I drive in the rain, remember I pointed out those 3 car accidents? I think of that first car accident with my mother. That's what I think of when I'm driving in the rain. And the more fragile the vehicle, the more that I think about that. Fragile vehicle. So I'm like that driving in the rain. So I will make a decision about which way the frog is going to jump, but I need to make that decision like now, because it's getting later and later and later in the day, and I got to do what I got to do. So if I'm going to do 100 miles today, that's at least an hour and a half. That puts me in Wilmington, Delaware, or at the very least right outside of Wilmington, and I can make my decision tomorrow. I don't have to make it right now. As my father always used to say to me when I was a little boy, he used to say to me, never make a decision on lack of sleep or food. I had a little bit of sleep. I actually slept halfway decent last night. Although this bed is not all that comfy. I really want my hammock. But it means a major design change. And I have a little bit of food. But it's not doing it for me. So I think I'll make my decision tomorrow. In the meantime, thanks a bunch for watching, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere on the road. Bye!